really having an opportunity to turn darkness into light. This space was troubled. It needed some love and attention. And with the help of Tammy Cohen and Michelle Galernter and the rest of our Building Enhancement Committee, they turned a space that needed some help into just a real marvel. And a real space of love, and really fitting for its namesake. We've seen this with the chapel, we've seen this with the lobby, and God willing, we're going to see this with the social hall and with the sanctuary real soon. Showing some real love with all of your support and the energy of many people in this room. Also want to thank Rachel Wilson for helping to set up today's event. And just thanking all of you for coming and supporting the Silverman family and supporting Congregation Eitz Chaim, showing your love to this space and remembering a really special person. I also want to recognize Janice Levine, who has lovingly kind of curated this library for so many years and will continue to do so. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Rabbi Lewis.
Bob and I coordinate our outfits today. We're both wearing lavender. Purple. We call it lavender, you call it purple. Eileen called it purple. It's purple. It's purple. I want to just share a couple of memories. All of us who knew Philip have memories of that young man who was extraordinary, who was exceptional, who had a wisdom, had a wit, had a love of life, and had a spirit that transcended his age and transcended his years. There were many things about Philip that were clever, many things about him that were avant-garde. I remember that when he was a student of mine, you could never see his face. He always had his hair down in front of him. You could never see because he had bangs all the way down to his chin. However, one day he came in, I saw the face, and he had cut his hair to give 9.5 inches to the organization Locks for Love, because his heart was so big. He was a strange kid on one level because he would wear the same outfits all the time. Not as dapper as his grandfather, his father. The same outfits. Every time I would see him in shul, in Hebrew school. And one day, in the middle of the winter, it was bitter cold, and he walked in wearing shorts, and he was wrapped in a blanket. He wouldn't wear a coat. He put on a blanket. He looked like an Indian. He wrapped a blanket around himself. An electric blanket, an enormously long extension cord, all the way to his head. He was a bright kid. He was a smart kid. And I remember he always would do something differently. And when he took a test for AP, even though there was no question he was going to get a marvelous grade, what he did was he slipped in a crisp dollar bill in between the pages with the hope of bribing the proctor. The naivete, thinking a buck is going to do it, but nevertheless, it was a gesture. The teacher laughed and smiled, but it wouldn't have made a difference because he got into Tufts, he got into Georgia Tech, and the great sadness and sorrow is that he didn't make it to either to begin his freshman year. For those of us who remember him, he was a glorious, glorious soul, and he is somebody who is commemorating this with us. His spirit is here. His spirit resides in all of us who knew him, loved him, and were inspired by him. Not just a family, not just a congregation and a community, but the impact was felt even beyond these walls at Walton High School, where they had celebrations for him, and wherever he went, he impacted and left behind something that was incomparable. And so to Philip, who is with us today and is not with us today, we love you, we miss you in ways that we cannot even describe, and we hope and pray that all is well with you wherever you are.
Thank you. Okay, without tears, hopefully. So, first of all, we're overwhelmed by the attendance because when I thought and heard that we were going to dedicate the library, which part of me didn't even want to do, I just wanted it to become the library in his memory. I figured there'd be 20 congregants, we'd come in, we'd get it done, and off we'd go. Maybe I'd go play some golf.
You messed that up.
Yeah. So when we found out that we could do this, there was zero hesitation, no matter how much money it was going to take, zero hesitation. So we were completely overwhelmed by the opportunity to create this facility, to remodel it, and to rename it in Philip's memory. So that's first and foremost. We're just so thankful. It's been 10.5 years, so it's been a long time. So you know that 10.5 years later to have this opportunity wasn't something we thought would really ever come about. So we're thankful for that. Tammy Cohen, Michelle Galanter, I know you're in here somewhere. God bless you. These are two volunteers that literally spent many hours remodeling and making choices and making this happen. There's some people that were paid that are on the staff, and I want to be able to thank everyone, but I have to specifically thank the two of you guys, wherever you may be. Just a couple of thoughts. First, the bear up here in the Grateful Dead t-shirt. Philip was a great Grateful Dead fan, and his nickname was the bear, Laura's nickname was the monkey. So that's the whole meaning behind that. As we sit here and do this, and there's devastation going on, I've got a brother in Sarasota, I also want to recognize that 7 members of our family, Bonnie's family, evacuated and is living with us and was able to make it to this dedication. So her mom, her sister, nephews, we've got 7 members here, and otherwise they wouldn't have been here. So again, life works in mysterious ways, and we're thankful to have them with us, and that we know they're going to be safe up here. And so that's an awesome thing as well. With that, we also are just so thrilled with our little author over here.
That's my wins you get.
Yeah. So buy a book. And again, just thank you for coming, and we love you guys, and we feel the love back. So thanks so much.
Before I have everyone pivot and turn to that side of the room where we're going to hang our mezuzah, I'm reminded as we sit here celebrating the unveiling of a beautiful new book and also dedicating the library of a beautiful quote by the noted Israeli author and poet Naomi Shemer, who once observed that all of life is al hadvash ve'al ha'oketz, right? As we approach Rosh Hashanah, so much of life is about the dvash, the sweetness, accompanied by the oketz, the stinger, the bitter and the sweet together. And I think that while today, and I noticed that this beautiful crowd is together, we can't help but be a little bit sad as we gather together. There's also, as we approach Rosh Hashanah, so much sweetness that will come out of this library and this space. I can already share with you that beginning on this Monday morning, God willing, provided the weather cooperates, this Monday, this space will be used very formally for the very first time as a class for the Melton program to introduce new young parents with their young children how to become part of the Jewish community, right? And it's a class on Jewish parenting that's going to take place in this very spot right over here. And I can think of no greater legacy that the Silverman family has left for our future than to have a space that will be in continual use by people of all ages, but especially of that next generation entering into the ranks here at Eitz Chaim. Also, I just want to point out before I hang up the mezuzah, consistent with the bear, of course, is our Grateful Dead mezuzah that made by, of course, Tammy and Michelle, is I'm correctly, not surprisingly, very creatively, and I hope that as we enter this sacred space and we kiss it together every time we enter, we'll always remember Philip. His memory, Yehi Zichro Baruch, may his memory always be for blessing. Amen. I'd like to invite Bobby.
Is that an issue that after the leaving can be an issue?
Yes, I agree.
I imagine experience now looking at Equifax and shaking their heads.
I meant to call you like a million times. I haven't. We need to go get
Everyone can pivot this
I saw you
direction.
across the river.
I know it's a rather small space, but if we could all pivot over here for just a moment. Together, we're going to say the bracha, and then we're going to affix the mezuzah. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kishanu mitzvotav v'tzivanu likboa mezuzah. Praised are you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, who has commanded us lovingly together as a community to affix this mezuzah to the door.
You get the screws in the hole and I'll hold it. That's as far as I'm going to be a master carpenter. One in the other.
There was a rabbi once upon a time who was a master carpenter, but it's not this one. Somebody said that.
Thank you! Yeah. Oh, if you want a book sign, book signing over there.